Hi, everyone. Great pleasure to be here. So we've been given this space to talk a little bit about, our work, our company, and I was wondering a lot. So what could I say here to add to this amazing audience? This is a challenge because I cannot add much in terms of artificial intelligence to so many experts. So I've been thinking about what could I say, and I remembered of, we have a lot of talented, uh, also researchers and developers in the company, and I thought about what they like to hear from me, and I think this is maybe some perspective that could add something here to all the researchers that will present those, amazing progresses in works that have been done in artificial intelligence connected to law. So the one thing that I notice inside Jusbrasil is that we work with information retrieval inside the legal field, and for a lot of really bright people inside the company, it's not so obvious and how they can connect to the purpose uh, that we have in the company, which of course, is the also comes from their work. It's sometimes hard to connect to the purpose in a pragmatical way. So that's what I thought I could maybe add here to try to bring more clarity in terms of how fundamental and how impactful the research that we are talking about here is, to society. So trying to talk in very simple terms, uh, what ultimately what we want to do, in Jusbrasil is to improve justice and improve social capital, in this sense, social trust through, wide access to highly relevant information. In this case, we are talking mainly about the legal information. And what happens is that I think is difficult to grasp for many engineers and technological people that are not acquainted to the legal domain is how the law is built, and the law is built really through hundreds of inputs or maybe thousands of inputs from of course thousands of different sources and different people. In this sense, we can think about all the judges decisions, which in Portuguese we call jurisprudence. I think in English it might have a different name. uh, all the inputs from the legislation, how what is the legislations that exist that tackle this issue, and all the inputs from experts, jurists' opinions, and this is very scattered and unorganized information. So I think the decision maker here and the legal professional, they have this really hard task of making sense of which is ultimately an collective intelligence. And that's where I think that AI comes strongly here, because I think AI is mostly about, is strongly about collective intelligence, making sense of all those inputs, and in this case, huge amounts of data. And that's the same thing that we have here. And this is the task, for instance, that someone trying to build a legal understanding has to face. So if we think about judge decisions, we have literally like hundreds of thousands of decisions for the same exact legal issue many times. And trying to bring some clarity for that too. What is a legal issue? It happens basically when two persons are in a conflict of interest, and the judge has this difficult task of saying which is the proper behavior for this conflict of interest situation, and which is the behavior that the state will enforce. And in this case, you have to make sense of, ideally, in terms of decisions, it would be amazing if we could know that in this specific situation, let's say 85.7% of the judges think that way and the others think in that other way. This it would be amazing and could give parameters for everyone to have, better decision making on top of this collective intelligence. So in Jusbrasil, what we're struggling to do is how to present this, and in Brazil, we're talking about those decisions among 30 billion, different documents. And we are trying to quickly bring the most important documents that should be read to build an understanding like that. So this is, as you know, a very, very, very difficult task, because we're talking only about like natural language, and you all know how difficult it is for the machine to interpret it. But how do we connect that to the purpose of improving justice and social trust? And this is, I think, where the amazing impact comes from. The thing is that if we are able, to actually sort out of those 30 billion documents only in Brazil, the most important ones, to build those legal understandings, then we will add a lot of quality to justice, to how justice is made. So this is the quest that we're pursuing in Jusbrasil. We want, all the lawyers from, both parties, everyone, to be honest, and to have access to the best arguments, to the best reasoning regarding any given subject. And if we could provide that, we would be contributing for, judges and anyone, pretty much anyone facing a conflict of interest situations and trying to come up with a solution. But we would provide them with a much better informed, discussion, with much better, legal arguments and legal reasonings. And if that happens, of course, the decisions will have higher quality as well. So ultimately, this is the purpose. This is how we see that we can contribute to a better justice, to better decisions regarding everyone's lives. And in these 30 years, I mean, we're talking about the decisions that actually modulate, our behavior if we abide to the law. And I think, most people do. And I think this is the magic, I think, the great impact that we generate inside the company. And that for me, this is the same impact that all of the research, that is going to be presented here also generates and also is contributing. So this is a little bit of Jusbrasil, a little bit of our purpose. I think the great thing here is that we go deep in research as well as everyone here, but we also have this amazing pleasure of being able to actually put those advancements in the hands of society, in the hands of people, and making and contributing to, fully realizing the impact of all of the great things that, all of those amazing researchers are doing. So, and this is the message that I wanted to convey. And I thank everyone very much for having this space, and I'll be here watching all the improvements, and that's it. And if anyone wants to talk a little bit about what we do, it will be a pleasure. Please just get in contact. We, as a team, are very open to, to any ideas or sorts of discussions. It's always a pleasure for us. So thank you, everyone.